we don't have a license plate on the car anymore. We have to finish the drive with no license plate on the car.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Oh gosh, I hope we make it. Buckle up, here we go. Literally no clutch the rest of the way. All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are in Dallas, Texas with the 924S, and we are on a cross-country drive to Phoenix, Arizona from Chattanooga, Tennessee to deliver the 924S to the giveaway winner. Now, they were on board with this. They were like, drive the car, just drive the car. It'll be a great trip. It'll be a great documented giveaway for the car, to personally deliver it to the giveaway winner. Well, if you saw in the last episode, we drove 16 hours straight to Dallas from Chattanooga, like just hammered. 4,000 RPMs, 3,800 to 4,000 RPMs at 75 miles an hour with these small little 16s. But we made it. We made it here to Dallas, no problems. We got to the BMP meet. And when we left the BMP meet, it was clear that there's something major going on in the bell housing when I depress my clutch. Now, this is almost identical to what was going on at Alpine Volks Fair this past spring when I first finished this car, when we had something snap in the clutch arm, and then the clutch was just not in operation anymore. And it turns out the throw-out bearing had failed somehow and was wearing the fingers of the pressure plate down to paper thin. And what happened was that last push, when that clutch fork pushed that throw-out bearing in against those fingers and I was trying to stop, it pushed the throw-out bearing through the fingers and everything broke inside. It's making worse noises now than it did that first time. It's still working as of right now. We limped it here about 5 miles from BMP last night. When the car's idling and you push the clutch in, it is making terrible noises. So having known that noise, and maybe that's what's going on again, but Elliot from 944 Barn helped me get this thing fixed. And so I had an expert working with me on this. We fixed it. We don't know what's going on in there right now. Could be something totally different, but it's making the same sounds as before. Here's where we're at. We have to make it to Gallup, New Mexico. We don't have to. We could leave the car here. We could leave the car here in Dallas. BMP Tuning's a 10-minute drive down the street. Autry said we could even leave it inside. And then we could fly to Phoenix to Aoife and her husband Justin, who have won the car. We talked to them last night. They are totally cool. And then we would fly to SEMA in Vegas from Phoenix next week. Or we hammer it. Or we just hammer it. We use the clutch as little as possible, which is why it's 4 a.m. right now in Dallas, and we're trying to get out of here before morning commute because it's a Thursday. Or we hammer it all the way to Gallup. And if the clutch fails, we straight up bump start this thing. We start it in first gear every time we got to come to a stop. Shut the car off, put it in first, start it in first, synchro shift it all the way to fifth gear on the highway, and make it as far as we can without using the clutch. That's what we're going to do. Now, added with a monsoon coming into Dallas, literally in the next 10 minutes, that's adding a total deeper factor to this. We have to drive from Dallas through Albuquerque, all the way through New Mexico, basically all the way through Texas, and then to the Arizona border to Gallup. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this clutch as little as possible. And if the clutch breaks, we're going to straight up crank on this thing in gear and synchro shift it all the way to Gallup, where we're going to stay there tonight, and then another 5-hour drive from Gallup to Phoenix from there. Aoife and her husband are totally on. They're like, we don't want you stranded in the middle of the desert, but we want this insane story. We want this insane trip. Imagine the car rolls into our driveway with the clutch still working, or imagine we roll this car into their driveway, bump starting it every time we got to come to a stop. So that's what we're gonna do. We gotta beat the rain. I gotta load the car up. Welcome back to this, technically episode 2 of this whole shenanigans, and it has become shenanigans. This is insane. Everything else on this car is performing flawlessly so far. So we're just gonna hammer it. So follow along with us as we get on this trip. Keep your fingers crossed. This is gonna be a wild one, boys. This is gonna be a wild one. And my girlfriend's with me, so she's a major sport for this. We're underslept, we're overtired, and we got a car that's breaking, and we're in the middle of Texas. I need to say how thankful I am that I actually got the wiper motor done, because we're hitting some serious rain here. This could have been seriously bad if I didn't do this wiper motor, because we already hit rain on the way here to Dallas. But I'm gonna go pull it underneath the valet here at the hotel, hopefully not lose the clutch, and we'll get loaded up and we'll try to get the heck out of Dallas and get out from under this rain. All right, guys, we're about to hit the road. Pray for us, wish us luck. So bizarre right now. When I press the clutch, nothing's happening. It's not making any noise right now. It sounds like the throw-out bearing's about ready to come apart. Like last night when you pressed the clutch in, it was making this grinding rotational noise as if the throw-out bearing had nothing left to it and it was just grinding against the fingers of the pressure plate. And this morning, smooth as glass. Not sure what's going on there, but we're just trying to beat the monsoon out of Dallas and the traffic so we don't have to sit in traffic and just keep running that clutch. 13 hours to Gallup. Can we make it? Oh gosh, I hope we make it. All right, guys, we're in Wichita Falls, Texas. We stopped at a McDonald's to get some coffee. Trying to use the clutch as little as possible. It's still working okay. It's making noise again, but when we left the hotel, it wasn't making any noise. Wanted to get off the highway. We're about 2.5 hours in now. We've done about 140 miles or so. We've made it out of the bad weather, like severe weather warning in Dallas. We were able to get out from under that. All right, so we're on to Amarillo from here. If all goes well, we should be in Gallup by late this afternoon. We're gonna get gas now that we're off the highway, top that off, and just keep hammering. We'll see how it goes. Crank starting the car in first gear is like our fail-safe. So if the clutch comes apart, all hope isn't lost. We can basically keep going. I've done a little bit of synchro shifting in the car, like getting on and off the highway, just as like good practice as to how this car likes to shift without a clutch, just in case we end up finishing this drive without one. All right, so we're back on the road, leaving Wichita Falls. We've had this all apart, so when it was making this noise before, the throw-out bearing had been installed improperly. I think backwards, maybe, I can't remember. Elliot helped take that part of the car apart. But the throw-out bearing had rubbed through the fingers of the pressure plate until it just pushed right through, punched right through. And it's making the same sounds now. And I was on the phone with Elliot last night, and we were just going over everything we looked at and everything we checked. And everything was installed properly. Elliot's business is 944s and 924s. Like, he's done this countless times. Had these apart, done throw-out bearings, done clutches. So we're literally stumped as to what's going on right now. Well, we stopped in this town. We're out in the middle of Texas now. Chillicothe. Chillicothe? We're currently in Chillicothe, Texas. but we're in the middle of nowhere, basically, between Wichita Falls and Amarillo. And Corey and I actually stopped at this very same building on the Rotiform Ludwick's Garage trip in the Cabrio a couple years ago. So when Kayla and I came through this town, I immediately recognized this area, and we had to get some photos of the Porsche in front of this building as well. So we stopped in some other small town in the middle of nowhere. I think we're in Claude, Texas, middle of nowhere. And this clip is for Jimmy Oaks and all the boys, No Funnel Gang. It's windy here though. I'm making excuses already, but it's windy. And this is full, like a full gallon. All right, ready? Can't really. Oh boy, yeah. All right, boys, no funnel gang, no drip, no mess. We're at Court Low. I didn't check at the last fill up. I mean, we're in. That's a win. That's a win. That's not a fail. That's no Grant Anderson fail. All right, so the update is car seems to be doing okay. We're about 40 minutes out from Amarillo. We are gonna stop at Cadillac Ranch because the weather is finally beautiful. I don't wanna jinx that yet, but the last 2 or 3 times I've been to Cadillac Ranch, it's been freaking raining. So we're gonna stop there, maybe grab lunch at the same time and keep hammering. From there, we'll be bound for the New Mexico border. We'll see how far we get. So far, so good, guys. Keep your fingers crossed. As I'm filming this, you're just sitting at home or at work watching this episode. I have no idea what the end of this episode is gonna look like and what shape the car is gonna be in. Or what shape we're gonna be in. All right, guys, we are at Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. I mean, look at the undercarriage, just caked in paint. Wheel bearings are still good. All right, guys, we stopped somewhere in New Mexico. We're kind of in the desert, but we're on Route 66. We're gonna stop and get coffee at this really cool coffee shop. And we stopped at the Sun and Sand Motel, which is so cool. It's got the New Mexico logo with the sign in the middle of it. Really cool restaurant. They got a telephone booth out front. I mean, this is like quintessential Route 66. But I noticed something when I got out of the car. Yep, we don't have a license plate on the car anymore. And what's crazy is when we were driving across the desert coming in from Texas to New Mexico, I told Caleb, these crosswinds are pretty heavy, and my plate was only held on by magnets. And I told her, I said, I wonder if these crosswinds are strong enough to rip the plate off. Well, we just stopped, got off the highway, got behind the car, and I realized the plate's gone. So now we have to finish the drive from East New Mexico all the way to Phoenix with no license plate on the car. Not a single plate. So let's start a tally for how many times we get stopped without a license plate from here to Phoenix and while cruising around Phoenix. If we even make it that far with the transmission issue. Yes.
Can I put my guess in now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess 0 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess 0 too. I say we don't get stopped once. Maybe cruising around Phoenix, but I don't think we get stopped at all. That's our call, 0. Put it down in the comments. How many times before the end of this episode do we get stopped for no plate? All right, guys, we made it to El Rancho Hotel in Gallup, New Mexico. Against all odds, or though it seemed, this little sports car has been a champion. We've done about 16 hours today. We left at 4:30 a.m. and it's 8:30-ish now. 16 hours again. This is 2 days in a row. We've done 16 hours flat at about 4,000 RPMs in this car, steady. And we're here. Unreal, guys. We've got another 5 hours to go to Phoenix tomorrow, so we don't have to get up at 3 a.m. or earlier. It's cold here. We've sat in a Porsche 924S for 32 hours in 48 hours. That's crazy. But guys, it's here. It's in Gallup, New Mexico. We're just about on the Arizona border. I can't even believe it. This thing, I mean, we're gonna whisper it because we got the last leg tomorrow. But oh my goodness gracious, this thing has killed it on this drive.
It's doing great. It's doing great.
The little Porsche that could. The little Porsche that could. All right, we're gonna get checked in. We're gonna try to find some food. This place is really cool. This place has been all over documentaries and shows. El Rancho, well, it's Motel El Rancho. It's right on Route 66 here. Also, in Amarillo today, after Cadillac Ranch, we got online just to look at what was in the area for good food. We didn't want something too fast or cheap. And we found a place called Aloha Kitchen. And it's this super cool, super nice lady from Hawaii who has brought her family recipes to Amarillo, Texas. And we had the most unbelievable food there. So if you're on I-40 and you're traveling through Amarillo, even if you're not hungry, stop into Aloha Kitchen and tell them that we sent you. Tell them that you saw this episode and you went there and got food because you saw this episode. It's worth it. It's worth your time. Okay, good morning. Next morning, it's in the 30s. Fahrenheit. It's cold. It's cold. So we're gonna get some breakfast here at the hotel. We just loaded the car back up. It's cold. It's cold, but I love it. I'm in my element here. Well, boys, it finally happened.
Oh no.
Yep, it happened. Oh boy. It was almost too good to be true. So, kind of figured out what the problem is, aside from what's going on in that bell housing. And lo and behold, it's empty. And when you look straight down, there's a giant puddle of brake fluid under the car. So, there's no moisture around the master. There's no moisture around the feed line off the brake master cylinder. So, I'm thinking the slave cylinder failed. And that's a totally separate issue to the other clutch issue we've got going on in the car. I do have some brake fluid. I did think to bring some. Now normally if this thing was full, this would be more than enough to do what we're about to do, but it's only like a quarter full. There's a Phillips 66 next door. I'm gonna go hopefully find some more .3 brake fluid at that Phillips 66, so we've got enough. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill that reservoir right up to the tippy tip top. I just called Elliot to kind of get like the 944 expertise, like what would you do in what order right now? We're gonna fill the brake master up all the way, almost overflowing. And then by hand, we're gonna crank that clutch pedal as fast as we can to try to bleed that system and get fluid back down to the slave, in hopes that maybe that slave cylinder is just leaking slow enough to where we can gain a clutch back and drive the car. Because if not, we're crank starting this thing in first gear all the way to Phoenix, or as far as we can make it. Because here in Gallup, in some small town in New Mexico, we probably won't be able to find a slave cylinder, and you gotta pull the starter to get to it. But we're so close now, and Aoife and Justin, who know we've had some issues with the car, they've got the day off today, and they've got a car trailer, and they're willing to make from Phoenix to here to come get us. And we can do one better. We can actually get closer to Phoenix from here by simply crank starting it in first gear when we have to come to a stop. So I think we're still okay. We're gonna try to prime and bleed this system and hopefully gain a clutch back. That's hope number one. Contingency plan is we just crank the thing and we just hit the road. So here we go. We're gonna give this a go, and this all the fluid's on the ground under it. So it leaked all out overnight, so it might be a pretty bad leak. Well, no luck bleeding the slave cylinder, and as we already kind of expected, nobody in town has a 944 clutch slave cylinder in stock. And actually, no one can get one later today either. They're more than a couple days out. So we got to drive it. We're just going to drive it with no clutch. And it's a 5-hour stretch to Phoenix. It really stinks because this stretch from Gallup to Phoenix, we were really looking forward to driving Route 66 to the border, which maybe we'll try doing, I don't know. Driving 66 to the Arizona border and then stopping at the Petrified Forest, which we still do, I don't know. Every time you come to a stop, you got to shut the car off and start it in first gear and then synchro shift it. So it's going to put added wear on the starter. It's going to put added wear on the battery, obviously. But these 944 starters are pretty notoriously robust, as Elliot from 944 Barn says, and he would know. So this is the beginning of the section of this road trip where we are driving this car with no clutch and no license plate now. We still don't have a license plate on the car. So this is where it gets the most interesting. We're literally driving this car, no plate. But in my opinion, it looks finished. We've got the heck blend, and I've got my Ludwick Garage like acrylic plate covering all the holes. So there's no like empty plate tub on the back of this car. So I feel like when you're just looking at the car go down the road, you're kind of absorbing what the car is and what's going on, and the back looks finished. The biggest thing I'm worried about is getting to Phoenix at afternoon commute time and sitting in traffic. That's where this is really gonna get stressful on that starter. We're gonna have to start it and stop it every single time we're gonna come to a stop in gear in traffic. So we're gonna get it started in neutral, we'll get it warmed up, we'll get everything ready to go, and I think I need fuel too, so that's kind of a bummer. So we got it warmed up in neutral. This is where it gets violent and annoying. I press the clutch, it just snaps to the floor. All right. Reverse. It's uphill pushing it out of here and it's not smooth going, so I decided not to push it. No one's coming. Because when we start going, we're going. I want to make sure I don't run over some old lady just trying to get to her car. Oh, one more. I should have put it in neutral. This is what's left of our slave cylinder. All right, off to Arizona with literally no clutch. This is where it gets interesting, boys. There's a gas station next door, and we're trying to figure out how to get there. Here we go. We're committed now. All right, So now when we start it in first gear, we got to be committed. So I think what I'll do is I'll stage over here and wait until we have like no traffic, even a red light, because I'm just gonna go right on red, and we don't have to keep cranking this thing real hard. And if we're rolling, I could find a gear. Here we go.
I think you're good.
We're good. We're good. Green light. No traffic. Oh, this is atrocious. Okay, we're gonna want to face the other way. So, I'm trying to do this. Navigating around all these cars in this parking lot. Oh, I literally want to push the clutch in. Let's get gas. Straight shot on the I-40. And then we're contemplating stopping and driving Route 66 and all that. So that'll get interesting. Yeah, we got an attack plan for getting out of here, I think. Okay, we're on the move. Gonna try.
Green. It's going green. Turning lane's green.
I hope I can just like, yep, I'm going for it. We're gonna have to shut it off. Shoot. All right, now we're in traffic. So hopefully it starts, no problem from here. When it cranks in first, here we go, synchro shifting. Second gear, got it. We got everything, right? Third gear, smooth enough. All right, we should be going left. Yeah, left. I-40 West. All right, buckle up. Here we go. Literally no clutch the rest of the way. Honestly, I'm surprised we had a clutch as long as we did. Oh, I should have timed that better. Downshift in the second, okay? We're gonna lose it. No, we got it. 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 Go, 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 go. Please 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 go. Go, 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 go. Got it. Got it. Yeah. That downshift from third to second was the smoothest one yet. Here we go. First run to fifth gear. Third. One more and we're cruising. All right, we're in fifth gear. We're on I-40, leaving Gallup. The problem is what we really want to do now is we really want to get off before the Arizona border because Route 66 is separate from I-40. Like I-40 assimilated Route 66 in many areas through the Southwest. So there's only like remnants of it that survive through some of these old towns. And although El Rancho Motel is on Route 66, it's stop and go all the way to the Arizona border. So what we're going to do is we're going to get close to the Arizona border and get off and exit for Route 66. That's no traffic lights. On the map, it looks like it's just one long run to the Arizona border. So we're gonna cruise for a few miles, get off, we'll see how it goes. I don't wanna abuse this, I really don't, but as you guys saw, first to fifth, we didn't grind at all. Even downshifting, we were able to get it no problem. So hopefully we're good all the way to Phoenix, where we'll be getting there during afternoon work commute. All right, we're getting off our exit for Route 66. Gonna do our best to keep the thing running.
Then turn left onto West Historic Route 66.
Stop. Okay. Oh, press the clutch pedal. Oh, we gotta stop. All right, here we go. Second
There's
gear.
nobody coming.
Nope, we're good. That was a fourth to second gear drop with no clutch. It's really remarkably good at synchro shifting. It doesn't grind that bad, but I guess if you just rev match it well enough, you can get it done, no problem. Yeah, she ran right up to me.
Over there.
Yeah. She ran right up to me. Hi. Are you being a good girl? You being a good girl? Do people give you treats? Is that what happens? Huh? Is that what happens? Oh. She's a sweetheart. You're a sweetheart. Okay. Okay. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi. This is our new best friend. Hi. I know. Oh, I know. You're such a good girl. You're so friendly. You're so friendly. Okay, let's go see what's going on. Come on. Apparently she wants to go in the Porsche. Do you want to go home with us? She wants to go to Phoenix with us. Wow.
So pretty.
So loads of petrified wood. Big stuff too. Crazy. Wow. It's crazy seeing the big chunks of it.
Yeah, whole trees too. There's a whole tree.
Oh yeah, wow. Incredible.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, it's literally turned to, it's fossilized. It's turned to stone. Yeah, this is incredible. So that was a dwelling of sorts up in there? Or what were they, when they originally built that in there?
Yeah, that's what that was. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a state line marker.
Oh, is that the state line? Wow. The pin. Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
Wow.
And we got lots of it over there. It's all been brought in here back in the 50s and 60s.
Wow.
It was picked up in the 30s and 40s.
So we've decided to buy some petrified wood. And what's really cool is his great-grandfather picked these pieces. So we wanted to get a few pieces out of this since they're kind of like family. All right, guys, so we stopped, actually made a U-turn to come back to this place. And I'm so glad we did. With no clutch in the car, it just made it's making it a nuisance to like literally downshift in a second, to make a U-turn without stopping, without traffic, to come back in here. His great-grandfather basically scoured this cliffside and on the backside of this cliff to collect all that petrified wood to sell to the travelers that were coming through on rail because they realized that the travelers wanted to collect that stuff. So his great-grandfather actually made a living and did well for himself by actually like foraging and selling the petrified wood that was from this land on this cliffside, on the backside of this ridge. So we bought some. We bought some, and it's so cool to be going home with some of this stuff. I visited the Petrified Forest when I was 10 years old with my family, so seeing petrified wood for the first time was just so mind-boggling, even at 10 years old. But to be here and to buy some of this stuff that came from this land that was picked with his great-grandfather's hands is just so cool. So we're gonna pack some of that up and fly home with it. We're not taking his dog, even though he said we'd be more than welcome to. She was a sweetheart. So now we actually got to get back to business, back to hitting the road. All right, so we stopped for lunch before we got back on 40. We're still at the end of Route 66 where it becomes 40 again. We got food. We got some Native American blankets that Kayla's super stoked about. Again, getting that petrified wood was just so cool, and getting a chance to hang out with that gentleman and his dog and his cats. And now we're hitting the road for Payson. We're cutting down. We're not going to Flagstaff and going down to Phoenix. That's the way we should go. We should go to Flagstaff and then straight down, all interstate driving with no clutch. But I'm feeling pretty good about this car, even without a clutch. So we're gonna cut down, we're gonna get to Holbrook, Arizona, and we're gonna cut down through old roads, through the desert, from high desert to low desert, through Payson, Arizona. It's a route I took when I did the G50 Q45 cross-country trip, and it was okay, I think. So we're gonna just go for it and hope that we don't have any problems. So here we go. I hope we don't have problems like starting this thing.
We won't.
I think it'll be okay. I'm over revving, so I gotta not go so high in the revs. Yeah, so 4th to 5th was much better there. We'll get it. The downshifts are the hardest ones, and we've been getting those okay. All right, so we just stopped at the National Petrified Forest heritage site. So we thought it would be a great idea to drive through the National Forest and bring you guys along, because why not just keep doing weird things or things that you'd want to do on vacation, but in a sports car that's a manual with no clutch. So that we're just adding on to the dynamics of this trip. So you're gonna see some amazing stuff driving through here. We're gonna be looking at trees that have turned to stone. It's so crazy. Also, I did drive through here when I was a kid, but I was 10 years old with my family in a motorhome. So Kayla and I are basically experiencing this for the first time, as far as I'm concerned. We got a stop sign up here, and we're just trying to not shut this thing off. Okay, everyone's gonna actually come to a stop. We're still creeping. I just don't want to shut it off. No, just go. Oh, yes, we got this. We got this. Awesome. I'll make it look like I'm coming to a stop. Yep, okay. All right, guys, well, we made it. We're not quite to Aoife's yet, where we're delivering the 924S, because she is the giveaway winner, and that's the whole reason this whole trip has taken place, because her and her husband were all about us driving it cross country to them, not knowing, but knowing it was a possibility that something might go wrong with the car, which unfortunately it did, but we're still driving it. We're literally about 20 minutes from their place, and we wanted to end the episode here, because the next episode will be delivering it to Aoife, getting her reaction, and getting her to drive around in it, and the In-N-Out meet, the Ludwick Garage pop-up meet that we're doing here in Phoenix. So the next episode is gonna be those two things. We'll get a chance to hang out in Phoenix here for the next few days before flying on to SEMA. But this last stretch has been insane. We did a 16-hour haul yesterday. With losing the slave cylinder, we've literally driven the car 8 hours today, all the way here to Phoenix with no clutch. But this car, what an insane car. I mean, really, if you've been thinking about going out and getting a 924 or a 944, do it. It's been an awesome car. I'm just so grateful to have been able to take this project on and to drive it cross country across the Southwest. One of Kayla's and I's favorite part of this country. I mean, it's just so beautiful out here. Well, that's it, guys. We've got another 20-minute drive to get this thing to Aoife and her husband, but we've had an amazing trip. The driving aspect is over. Kayla's been a champion as well. She's been sticking it out with me in this car. She's off messing with a cactus or something at the moment. But thank you guys so much for watching. This trip has been wild. I hope I did a decent job at documenting it, as well as some of the crazy non-automotive stuff that we have done or seen on this trip. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you guys so much, and I so appreciate the fact that we are in Phoenix in this car, and it didn't arrive on a rollback, and yeah, no, we didn't have any other issues on the road. So we'll see you guys in the next episode here from Phoenix, Arizona, before we go on to SEMA in Las Vegas. Have a good night, guys.